Some lessons are taught by the young. Have you ever been in a situation where you were right and your parents were wrong? Well, I was in one of these situations a few years back when we went to a theme park in Florida called SeaWorld. I was 5 years old on this trip. I taught my dad to always keep his word. So, we were walking through this theme park. We went to all the exhibits, we went on these rides, and then we got just exhausted. So, we were going to head back to the room. Well, on our way back to the room, I see these flamingo paddle boats off in the distance, and I'm like, Dad, please, can we go on these flamingo paddle boats? And he was like, Son, we're all tired. We need to go back to the room and relax and get rested so we can come back tomorrow, which was going to be our last day at the park. And I was like, okay, that's fine with me. So we got to the car, we headed back to the room. We rested that night. We forgot about the flamingo paddle boats, and then we came back the next day. Well, when we get back the next day, we started going back to the rides and looking at the other exhibits, and just we had a good time that day too. And then we got just exhausted again. So we started heading back to the car. We were all tired. We had forgot about the flamingo paddle boats. And so once we got close enough to them, I see them off in the distance again, and I'm like, Dad, please, you promised. You said that we were going to go on these flamingo paddle boats. And he looked at me again and he said, Son, we're all tired. We need to go back to the room and rest for our trip back home tomorrow. And I was like, Dad, you're making a wrong decision. Let your yes be yes and your no be no, or you'll fall under the judgment. And him and my mom looked at each other and said, he's got to go on these paddle boats today. And so we turned around and started heading back towards those flamingo paddle boats. And when we turned around and started heading that way, I looked at him and said, Daddy, now you're making the right decision. And so my lesson to you guys is to always keep your word. Don't tell lies. Don't always let your yes be yes and your no be no.